Jayaraman, thank you very much for taking the time out. First, if you could just start by briefing us on the conference. How many investors are you seeing? What kind of profile of companies are you showcasing?
Morning. So this is our annual flagship conference called the Capitalize. So since 2009, we have been having it in various cities in South India. Typically about 50 managements participate and about 100 investors. This year, we will be having about 55 managements from the listed markets and about 15 to 20 unlisted stroke sector experts will be there. We're expecting about 100 funds, including a fair sprinkling of funds from abroad, to participate in the event.
Jayaraman, hi, morning. You know, the real highlight for me is the whole mid-cap pharma space, where we have seen so much of wealth creation over the last 2 or 3 years. What's your own call on some of these names like, Granules, Natco Pharma, Sequent Scientific, or some of the other mid-cap pharma companies, even Apollo Hospitals for that matter, in the healthcare space? Is this a space that you think can still make money for investors?
No, this has been possibly the best performing sector, and even calendar this year, it's been the best performing space. So we are having quite a few interesting names, companies who generally are a little more reclusive, companies who are not too much understood in the markets. So we are having them here. We need to understand quite a few aspects of their business and give an opportunity for investors to understand the business models. We're also having some sector experts from the space who will give us a perspective of how the regulatory perspective is likely to change with the whole the regulatory issues on compliance from the FDA coming in. We want to understand. So this is a great opportunity for us and for the investors to understand the space a lot better.
Well, you have some great and really interesting names lined up from the pharma space. But we do understand that you've done a lot of work with regards to the 7th Pay Commission and which are the sectors as well as the companies which might benefit. Your thoughts on the same, and is that a theme that which might be an overarching sort of sense that we could get from your conference?
Yeah, I think that's possibly the biggest thing which we want to focus on this event, and the way we see FY17 impact of the whole pay commission playing out. The numbers are huge, as you possibly know, which is about on a base of about close to 10 lakh crores of total payment to government employees. We are expecting close to about on the face of it, about 25% increase. But when we dive deep into the numbers, we are seeing that it's more likely to be in the range of 35 to 37% increase on such a large base. Close to 1 crore central government employees, and as the year progresses, more state governments will also kind of accept the recommendations. So you're looking at close to 2.5 crore Indians working in government space, looking to benefit out of this. The numbers are quite staggering. And we see clear impact on consumption coming out, and that's possibly our biggest bet as we see our portfolio positioning, as we recommend investors to get positioned for next calendar or next financial year. The biggest theme is this, and a lot of our interactions over this event will make us want to understand that a little better, to understand how companies are preparing themselves to address this opportunity which is likely to come up. It's a very important theme as we see, and we think even if we go back to history and try to see the impact this has had, this has been big, both on consumption as well as on savings. In fact, the first beneficiary of this should be savings, and the impact of that on deposit growth will be clearly seen as we go into the year.
Okay, so Jayaraman, have you identified any few stocks or a clutch of stocks which should be the biggest beneficiaries? If you could name some of them.
Yeah, autos is our biggest overweight stance in the entire model portfolio. So both two-wheelers, four-wheeler names, and companies who are derived demand beneficiaries of them are our biggest overweight stance in the portfolio. More specifically, discretionary consumption names are also something that we are betting big on. Financials also. So the three themes that we have been looking at are government spend, consumption, and the impact of all this on financials. So these are our three big bets in the way we are looking at next 12 months, next 18 months play out. And in fact, in some of our model portfolio companies, I mean, the 80% of our model portfolio is in some form positioned towards that. And even our conference, many of the names that we have called, we have invited to participate are also companies which will help us understand this whole theme far better in the next 18 months impact.
Okay, just hold that thought. We have a strategic development which has come in for Berger Paints. It's more of a restructuring with Nippon Paints, where they've entered into a non-binding understanding where certain businesses, including the three-wheeler and four-wheeler passenger cars and SUV paint business of Berger, along with certain businesses, including the four-wheeler paint business of Nippon Paint, will be transferred to a joint venture, which is BNB Coatings India Limited, which is a joint venture company where Nippon Paints Automotive Coatings Limited, the Japanese firm, holds 51% and Berger holds 49% of the paid up capital. So there's some amount of restructuring which is going on there. We'll try and get you more details on that. Is that a sector that you look at, Jayaraman, the paint sector, which might interest you? It also comes under consumption.
Yeah, of course. Paints has been a sector that we have just loved over the last 5-6 years. Across the space, we cover about 4 stocks in the paint space, and we have liked all 4
So
over
do you
various
like
periods in time.
So can you
that's
comment on the Berger Paints news that I just read out, if you have a view on that?
We possibly need to understand that a little better before we comment on that. But as a space, paints have been buy and hold stocks. To very structural, the nature of opportunities is so repetitive in nature that and it's possibly the biggest upside of some of the macro changes that we also see, both on raw material side as well as the spending on consumption side.
Okay, I believe you're also showcasing companies like Intellect and Subex in your conference. Intellect in particular has seen a remarkable rally, Jayaraman. Anything particular that you like about this company or this stock or the space that it's in?
See, IT product companies are a new niche which is building a lot of interest in the markets. Not just these 2 names, but 2-3 other names as well. We are beginning to see the whole non-linearity upside in product companies, something some markets investors have been showing a lot of interest to understand, and not surprised that a lot of demand is being seen from investor side to understand and see the potential upside in these companies. As the market matures from services, more linearity of services upside to more non-linearity in the products business, we are clearly seeing interest build up here.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to leave it on that. Thank you very much for joining in and hope you have a great conference. It was great speaking to you. Time for a break now, but Ankit Miglani, Director